live in order to share myself with the internet right now because I have I need a lot of technology upgrading. I need a lot of support that I don't currently have. But I still want to share myself and help people. And so I want to talk today about foundation in regard to the ascension journey, in regard to the twin flame journey too. I want to talk about foundation, twin flames, soul family, spiritual friends, spiritual community, autism, making money, new earth, all this stuff. It's a lot. Um, it's my life purpose to be a spiritual teacher and ascension coach. I think they might want to change it to twin flame ascension coach so that people don't forget the twin flame part of being an ascension coach. Just a suggestion. You might want to change it to twin flame ascension coach. Um, or not. I just feel like certain coaches are a little overtly focused on ascending people's lifestyles and doing the mirror exercise and kind of totally forgetting the twin flame part. But I should be getting paid to help coach other people, but Church of Union and Twin Flames Universe does not currently support me as a coach and spiritual teacher and healer. It's not because it's God's will, it's because they're not open minded enough, not compassionate enough, blocks to partnership, all these things. None of this is under my control. And so, even though I should be getting paid for my spiritual wisdom, I currently don't have an opening for it. I do offer coaching and reading services, but I would much prefer to be officially affiliated with Twin Flames Universe and Church of Union. But they're not letting that happen. They're completely unwilling to support me right now in my life purpose. I know it's not my fault. It's not because I'm not doing enough inner work. It's their blocks, it's their control. You don't have to be perfect to be a coach. And in fact, being a coach and being able to help others and share your journey as you heal will and would help you ascend faster. So, um, even though I should be getting paid for my spiritual wisdom, like I said, there's no opening right now from Church of Union and Twin Flames Universe for me to do that. Um, oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet. But I still want to help people. I still want to share my spiritual wisdom, even though I'm not getting paid for it. It's my life purpose. And so I don't want to make this video too long, but I basically want to talk about foundation in regard to the ascension journey. Um, you may find it really difficult to build a foundation without your twin flame. And if that is so, if you're finding yourself like not able, that's so loud. Okay. Osiris, let's go inside, buddy. Osiris, let's go. In, in. You might find it really hard to build a foundation without your twin flame, especially if your number one priority is union, is harmonious union, is twin flames. The reason that would be the case is because God wants all of your energy focused on reunion. Um, if you look at Jeff and Shalia's story, well, what we know from the teachings of union that Jeff and Shalia and their students co created is that harmonious twin flame union is your true foundation, spiritually and energetically. And so, if you're choosing harmonious union in twin flames with all of yourself, you might find it really hard to make money and sustain a foundation if it's separate from your twin flame. You may have to live with parents or biological family, soul family, friends, and you may find it really hard to pick a career path or like really expand your wealth. And it's because God doesn't support separation. If you look at Jeff and Shalia's story, when Shalia was living in Sedona and Jeff was in Hawaii, they did not have much foundation. Jeff had cavities, snarly hair. Shalia was like living in a garage. Um, they didn't have a lot of wealth. It's not like one of them had a mansion and was just waiting for the other one to come live with them. When you're on the twin flame journey, when you're on the ascension journey, and you're choosing to be with your twin flame above everything, you might find it really hard to hold on to jobs, to invest a lot in a foundation that doesn't include your twin flame. What I've noticed that God will do is he'll bring soul family members together to live and share a foundation, or people who are embarking on the same journey, he'll guide them to work and live together. Um, until they go be with their twin flame. So you have to remember that since harmonious twin flame union, since your union is your true foundation in heaven, you might just hit wall after wall after wall trying to build a foundation without your twin flame. If that's not the case, whatever. But if what I know from classes, from observing other people, from my own life, is that if you're calling in your twin flame, that's going to be your number one focus. And what you want to do is you want to handle that. You and your twin flame need to be in the same environment. You need to have a shared foundation. That is the most compassionate thing. And if you don't agree with me, then you disagree fundamentally with God and how he designed reality. God designed reality for you to be with your twin flame and live as one life. That's the easiest, most compassionate, and most fun reality you can live. And so, because we don't want contrast, God is going to keep trying to point you to partner with your twin flame, talk to them, live together, shared purpose. And God's going to keep, your life will just get more and more uncomfortable until you're almost forced to partner with them because there's no other open door. The most compassionate thing to do, and this, God did this with me. So when I first started my twin flame journey consciously, God guided me to move back in with my mom in my hometown. She's also my soul sister. This was more compassionate so that I could focus on the twin flame journey. And the idea was for me to, God's plan, God's compassionate plan, was for me to go from living with my mom to living with my twin flame. That's compassionate. God also sent my soul sister, Michaela, to live with me and my mom for a short period of time before her harmonious union. It's compassion. God brings people together who are aligned to his will. It's more compassionate that way. God wants you to be with your twin flame as quickly as humanly possible. That's what's most compassionate for you. That's what's most compassionate for them. That's what's most compassionate for the whole planet, actually. Um, if it's not possible, if things with your twin flame just aren't working out, um, I don't recommend you to live alone. It's not compassionate, especially if you have autism, trauma. It's more compassionate for birds of a feather to stick together. Recently, um, well, yeah. So the same thing has been happening with me and Dan Thalen. Since we came together in January 2020, um, God has guided Dan and I to work together. We ran a coaching business together, but then once we were banned, God kept guiding us into the same jobs. It's called body doubling. It's called co-regulation. It's called compassion. It's called love. It's called mutual flourishing, as the First Unitarian Society in Madison recently did a Sunday service on mutual flourishing. It is more compassionate for you to live with people who align, who are on the same path, who align with you, who are on the same journey, than it is to live alone or with random strangers who don't align, don't have the same goals as you. So, God, ideally, once you meet your twin flame, move in together right away. That's my opinion. That is maximally compassionate. If that's not possible, God might guide you, or what I would guide you to do is move in with soul family or someone who's also on this path so that you can share foundation, you can lighten each other's burdens, you can help each other with spiritual work, you can partner in purpose. That's what God has been having Dan Thalen and I do for over 6 years. We keep trying to work separately, and God keeps guiding us back together. It's called compassion. It's called God. Isn't there like a Bible quote that like wherever there's two people, you have a church? What is that? Wherever there's okay, this is Matthew 18:20. For where two or three gather in my name, there am I with them. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. Ecclesiastes 4:9. So, um, I would love to share more about mine and Dan Thalen's experience after being banned because all God did was continue guiding us to love other people and serve the planet, um, and share this teaching and partner together. And it's the partnership that's key. So, um, once God reveals your twin flame to you, The only sane and loving thing to do, in my opinion, as a spiritual teacher, as a twin flame teacher, is to immediately move in with them as soon as humanly possible. That is maximally compassionate for both of you. And if that doesn't work, God may guide you to live with soul family or other people who are on this path so that you can partner in His purposes. That has been mine and Dan's experience for years. And every time we try to part ways, God guides us back together, back to working together so that we can serve God's will. So, I also want to talk about my brother Taya, who committed suicide when I was 16. He was 24. He was living by himself in an apartment. So he was isolated. Based on his suicide note that he left and my feelings and what God has shown me, what Taya needed was to move back in with me and my mom. He needed to ask for support. He had autism and he didn't know it. He was living alone. He was isolated with his own thoughts. And what he needed was to move back in with me and my mother. He was only 24. And that's when I moved back in with my mom when I was 24 years old. People think this is embarrassing. People think people think this is embarrassing to move in with other people. But it's not. It's called compassion, especially if you have autism, if you have trauma, and especially if you're calling in your twin flame because all your energy wants to focus on your true life purpose and your reunion. You don't want your energy going in all these different directions, trying to God doesn't want you to go create a career path and a life and foundation separate from your twin flame. If you're prioritizing the twin flame journey, if you're prioritizing career and money, that might be then what you do. But if you're asking God for your twin flame now, God's going to be like, go be with them now, then, please. I'm going to shut down everything else in your life so you can be really uncomfortable and you can go be with them. When Jeff and Shalia in the classes, in their Twin Flame Ascension School classes and Life Purpose class classes, they talk about how uncomfortable God made them. Like God took every dollar out of their life when they were coming together because they needed to start over together. And so, what you don't want to do is drag ass and slow down and take baby steps. That's not God's will. Love is a fast moving energy. Love doesn't hesitate. Now, sometimes people do hesitate because they have a block or trauma or they're unclear about something. So sometimes people might appear to hesitate because there's other issues going on. But in general, love is a fast moving energy. And so, um, your true foundation is harmonious union. It's going to take way more energy and way more effort to go off and build this massive foundation without your twin flame. Just do it together. Do it together. You and your twin flame have purpose together. That's where your purpose is. That's where your foundation is. So you what I'm this is about you either work with God's soul design or against God's soul design. You work against God's creation or with God's creation. Since God created you with a twin flame, um it's maximally compassionate for you to be in a shared living space, partnering in foundation, supporting each other, figuring out who has the vision for your purpose between the two of you, bringing that vision to life, combining your skills and talents to create. You don't want to be living with biological family forever. You don't want to be living alone. I don't recommend anyone live alone. If you've seen the TV show Golden Girls, um, that's a show about elderly women living together because it's more compassionate. They have friendship. I don't recommend anyone to live by themselves. I saw what it did to my brother. I know I've never lived alone and I never could, I never would. It's not compassionate. If you disagree with me, that's totally okay. Go ahead and disagree with me. So, I'm speaking based on studying Jeff and Shlea's teachings, looking at what's happened in my life and what God has set up in my life, and checking in with my feelings and also just what I know from culture, research, observations. I don't recommend anyone live alone. You may or may not know they are building a dementia village right where I live right now in Wisconsin. It's the first of its kind. Dementia Village. The Ellen and Peter Johnson Dementia Village at A Grace is a revolutionary project breaking ground in spring 2026 at A Grace's Madison campus. It's the first dementia village in US and it's coming to Fitchburg, Wisconsin. Fitchburg, Wisconsin is right where Dan Thalen and I live right now. We have an apartment in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. And one of the things that God guided us to do over the past 6.5 years, one of the things God guided us to do was become CNAs and work with elderly people. Elderly people. And also, specifically, I was moved more into the memory care and dementia units. Dan was brought over there occasionally, but we both have experience working with dementia. Me, a little bit more. Um, Me, a little bit more. Dementia Village. You may have heard that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a harmonious union. It takes a village to do basically anything. And so it's interesting and very important to note that a dementia village is currently being built. It's the first of its kind. Um, what I'm really getting at is that God didn't create you to do life alone. He did not. God created you with a twin flame, with soul family, with everyone, the whole one child of God, all of humanity. No one should be in isolation. No one should be alone. Isolation is only helpful in very certain circumstances for people for very specific lengths of time. You always want to come back out of that isolation. Um, there's another anyway, there's a lot I want to talk about in this video. Um, so I don't know where it went. I don't even know what I was doing. Okay. So oh, one of my friends shared something on Facebook yesterday and I reshared it. And it was basically about how the people who heal fastest and best aren't the toughest and strongest and most resilient. They're the most well supported. And so what you want to do is not isolate people, not abandon people, not dismantle their support system, not pull out the rug from underneath people. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is provide maximum support for people. Maximum support. That is what is most compassionate. When you don't have the right social support, it's devastating. And you don't necessarily need to live right next to other people necessarily. But this is why we have the internet, okay? Um I'm someone who's personally extremely extroverted. I love to constantly be talking to people. I also need to recharge my battery. And sometimes I'm kind of introverted, but I'm a social butterfly. I always prefer to be talking to people, connecting with people. Isolation is really harmful and dangerous. And so we see lots of people commit suicide all of the time. My brother did, my biological brother did. And everything he listed in his suicide note this is everything my biological brother was struggling with are things that everyone struggles with. And it's why God will always want people who love him and want to work together towards his purposes to live and partner and work together. Um, Remember, we're supposed to be creating heaven on earth here. That means you live with your twin flame, you share one life and one purpose. You're going to want to do that as soon as humanly possible. You're not going to want to hesitate. And if that is completely not being supported at all, like it's impossible or something, which it shouldn't be, God should and Church of Union should support all twin flames to come together as soon as humanly possible. That should be their purpose, one of their many purposes. Um, then I don't recommend anyone live alone. I don't recommend anyone be lonely or isolated. That's not God's compassion. God may then guide you to live with you. Everyone has to be supported somehow. Everyone has to have support and other people in their life. So what the world needs right now is more compassion, less harshness, less cruelty, cruelty, zero punishment, zero harshness. If you want someone to do something, you're expecting someone to do something specific, you have to support them. Things that are supportive to people are relationships, community, living your life purpose supports you. If you're living a job or if you're working a job that you're not really designed for, you're going to burn out. You might get chronic illness. Um we're not like the whole point of the teachings of union is for you to have everything you're wanting, and it's so that your true foundation is you and your twin flame together in your purpose. That's your true foundation in heaven. And so don't go do your purpose without them. Do it with them. Don't go live off without them. Live with them. That's what's going to be really compassionate. And like I said, if that's not possible, um God very well may guide you to live with soul family or other people who are walking the same path so that you can share in a foundation, help each other with spiritual work, help each other into your harmonious unions. That's how God sets things up. God is really intelligent and really compassionate. God doesn't want anyone to have dementia. God doesn't want anyone to be alone. God doesn't want anyone without their twin flame. God doesn't want anyone suffering. God doesn't want anyone not living their life purpose. And so, my advice as a spiritual teacher and healer is sure, we all want to chop wood and carry water. Sure, sure. But once God shows you your twin flame, it's time to go and make it fun. Make it fun. It's supposed to be really like it's supposed to be a really happy celebratory time. Like If you're living like th- this is supposed to be really happy. Like the ascension is supposed to be really fun, really happy. Like every new discovery about yourself and your life should be like really happy. So, um in addition to that, you will also start hitting a block in your wealth. Let's say you have your twin flame, you're in harmonious union, you're married, you have your purpose together, your family. You will also eventually hit a wall with your wealth and your foundation if you do not start partnering with other people who God guides you to partner with. Partnerships are essential for wealth. You see, celebrities really understand this. Celebrities really understand collaboration, partnership. So, yeah, I really just want to put this message out there because there's this energy that wants to isolate people. Like, go in your corner, do your spiritual work, don't talk to anybody, and work. No, that's not what we're doing. No. We want everyone to be connected, talking, partnering, collaborating. Everything should be extremely compassionate and loving, and while everyone should be completely supported. Um, so um, yeah, let's choose compassion for everybody. I would never live alone. I can't do that. I would never in my mind. I would start having the same feelings that my biological brother did. It's not you. We don't want to do that. My brother needed to move back in with me and my mom. He didn't, probably from a sense of pride. He did not feel like he could ask that because, like, yeah, we all like. What I'm trying to say is everyone needs each other and everyone needs to partner. We all need each other and we all need to partner. And if you look at Jeff and Shalia's story, they Jeff didn't like go off and create a ton of wealth and like have this whole separate career path. Jeff and Shalia were both completely focused on manifesting each other, and then they came together, and that's where their real wealth blossomed. And so let's all choose compassion for ourselves and other people. Let's all partner with each other. Let's all communicate and look at the full picture of what God is trying to do and what God is communicating. God is God wants what is most compassionate for every single person. Like, yeah, I have so much more to say, but like, That's about every step of your journey is supposed to feel really compassionate. You're not supposed to have like a lonely transition or like God doesn't want that for you or anybody. It takes a village for all, not some. We all need each other.